Okay, what's up, good folks? This is AB. I hope you're all doing well. Today we're going to be talking about something which I wanted to do for some time, which is talk about my battle with alcohol addiction. This is a serious topic, so kids, please leave the room. Let the adults remain, or at the very least, anybody who has got such an affliction. I just want to make sure that this video gives you some hope that yes, things get thick, but at the end of the day there's always hope. Things can always change. Almighty never gives up on you, and there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. So this is just going to be a quick story, and yeah, let's dive in. So let's start off the story. Basically, I never used to like pinting for the longest time. Everyone used to go and pint and drink. I wasn't much of a fan of it. I started actually late. I was past early in my early 20s, of which my friends had started in Form 1, Form 2, which is around 14, 15, or rather 15, 16. And so yeah, so when I started, I was around 21, 22. I'd say even 20, maybe around 22, 23. But let's just say the first time I would like take myself out to go to drink myself, I was around 23. And friends, of course, we used to go hang out together. We'd call it fun. It was not bad, but you know what had happened was that I didn't do too well in school, so I had a lot of time in my hands. And what had happened was that my drinking became a bit too much, and my dad used to get worried that I'm falling off the wayside. But luckily enough, I fell in love with somebody, and I don't know if that was the solution or the problem, but I fell in love with somebody and I got married. And I got a job, then fell in love, got married. So all that alcohol and stuff went to the back burner. And so yeah, so it only what I didn't know, that was just at the intro to the movie. The movie was going to get more interesting later on in life. So when I left work, so it was around 2013, and I separated with my ex and I divorced. Things became very serious because now I got time and I got freedom, and I got the wrong group of people, wrong friends, and yeah, so the addiction was just following me behind. It hadn't gone yet, so it caught up with me, and it was a doozy. So I used to pint a lot. So what I used to do is I used to pint. So it was around 2013 now to 2023. That was now the last phase of the movie. What used to happen, I used to drink on a Friday, and then on a Saturday I'd regret it, and then on around Monday I'd feel better, wait for about 2 weeks to pass, and then I repeat. It was something I couldn't stop. It was so bad. They call it binge drinking, whereby you do it a lot at once, wait, then a lot at once, then wait. And what used to happen is that I ended up not being able to stop because I don't know why. There are many reasons, but I even used to try and do my research that maybe I wasn't stopping because of I was either maybe I was bewitched, or maybe I was hypnotized. But for some reason I literally couldn't stop the 2 week routine. It was horrible. So what used to happen, if I didn't have money, I could borrow, and then borrowing of course made enemies with friends, of which they didn't like giving me money because they knew I was going to pint. So it was a disaster. So I was losing my friends, I was losing friendship with relatives, and it was just getting worse and worse over time. And I didn't know how bad it was until one day I got really sick. I had a chest problem. I learned later that because from where I was sleeping there was it was very damp, and because it was damp I had a chest infection and I couldn't breathe. It was very painful and it was getting worse by the minute. So what would happen is, like, it was maybe mild during the day, but as the nightfall came, I had very severe pain in my chest. And what happened, I would try and I decided I would go to the hospital, maybe get some medicine. But what had happened was that when I would call people, nobody would pick up the phone because they knew, this guy is just asking for the usual chums for pinting. And I would send them messages and ask them, by the way, this is serious, I'm not feeling well. And any way or method I could make it look serious, it just looked, it went against me. And that was the day that I realized that, yeah, things are thick. The person, of course, who helped me was my mom. I called her. She told me, don't worry, she'll send something in the morning, of which in the morning she sent me some chums. I went to the doctor. It was a lung infection. I got an injection, and yeah, the pain went and the infection went over time. But I didn't stop drinking then, but I knew where my bread was buttered. I knew where my eggs were basketed. That if things were to hit the fan, I would be in a very serious situation. Anyway, it was an eye-opener. It's one of those things that helped me learn a lot about human nature and behavior in life. But I didn't give up hope. As I said, the routine kept on going over and over. Sometimes it was 1 week, sometimes it was 2 weeks. I tried talking to a counselor. It didn't get much, because what would happen is I'd feel so bad. Some days I'd tell my mom, just let's go see somebody, I need help. My mom always said we'd rather go to AA. AA could help me, and the thing is that we didn't have an AA around here. The closest one was in town, and for me town was a bit too far, so I'd just go to the local church, look for counseling or a counselor there, of which we went. But when we went, there was nobody, and when it was time to go back, I was either drinking or drunk or hangover to go. So yeah, that didn't work out. All this time, I must say that my mom was my biggest supporter. She was technically like my prison warden, because I used to tell her, whatever happens, don't open the door. If I want to go anywhere, just lock it with a key and make sure that I don't leave. Because what had happened was, I usually was fine for about a week, and then the next week I'd have these cravings. I'd have this massive excitement, like I put loud music and I started dancing. It's like my mood shifted, and once my mood shifted, I immediately went to drink alcohol, and then it went back into the deep again. Anyway, so long story short, it went on for a long time. I would meet my friends. There's a good friend of mine called Alex. I would meet him when I was drunk, and I say, Alex, I fucked up again. I said I won't drink, and then he said, Anton, you don't worry, just make sure you don't be lied to by your fake friends, because at the end of the day they may be lying to you and stuff. And I'm like, no, the friends are me. I'm the bad friend, because I'm the guy who's not doing the right thing. I should be home, I should chill out. And I felt always guilty talking with him, because I always promised to quit pinting, and I never did. But it's like he used to it was so funny. He used to just chill. Okay, what he used to do, okay, where I used to drink was not far from where he used to live, so he could hear me talking, maybe the watchman, and he could come out and start talking with me, and we'd talk, and he'd always give me words of encouragement. Don't worry, don't give up hope. Whatever happens, whatever anybody says, you just push on. And yeah, so the story can go on forever, but in conclusion, one day I went out as I usually would, and I came back on around March of 8th 2023. I went out painting, and I just, let me say something quickly before I cut the video. You know what used to happen? I used to be very conscious of my habit of drinking, so much so that when I used to quit, like if I drank on Friday and then I got my hangover on Saturday, I could mark on the calendar on that Friday, I could mark it as last PIVA, which means my last alcohol. But what usually used to happen, for every month there were like 4 markers marked last PIVA, last PIVA, last PIVA, which means last alcohol. It was something crazy that most calendars hanging at home always used to, for every month there was at least one last PIVA. I tried everything. I'm telling you, it was bad. I tried counseling. I even tried studying about, maybe I was being hypnotized, maybe I was bewitched. I tried everything. I really prayed hard, and yeah, I did all this stuff, doing research on how to stop, but it didn't work out. Anyway, so, and my mom, of course, she was always there. She said, you know, Anton, you can do this. Alcohol is not for you. She's one of the people who literally gave me one of, like, it wasn't a discussion I could stop. In her mind, it was something possible. And to some degree, I was not to some degree, let me put it this way, to some degree it sounded bad because it looked like I was so incompetent that even I couldn't drink effectively. But the idea was that there was hope, and she believed in me that I could quit. Yeah, so my mom, kudos to my mom, she gave me not most of my hope. I think she gave me all of my hope, because she was the only person I was with at the time. Long story short is, one day I woke up, and I went to drink as I always did, and I drank till what time? What's what used to happen? I could drink, then I ended up drinking till morning. So when I was coming home the next day around lunchtime, no, it was around 3-4 o'clock, I remember, I decided to pass by my friend's house. He's an old man. He's a father of my family friend, and I asked, and as we were talking, he was very kind. He didn't chase me away. I was staunch drunk. You can imagine I was drinking for over 12 hours, maybe even 24 hours. He never chased me away. He was kind, he was nice, and I was asking him, you know, how are things, how is life, how are the kids, how are the grandies. He was fine. He just said X, Y, and Z. Believe it or not, I left him that day. I went home on that 8th of March. I never touched alcohol again. If I see it, I have no interest in it. Why this is the case? I know Almighty is the one who did it for me. It's something I cannot explain. It's something I cannot even want to rationalize because of fear that I may end up going back to where I was. So all I can say is that it's something that God blessed me with, and it's something that I'm thankful for. So what does this mean? It means that if you fight hard for something long enough, it's true, you will get it eventually. All you need to do is want it hard enough. And another thing I learned is that you need to find out what is keeping you away from stopping to drink. Make sure you pray. If you don't know what is going on, make sure you pray. Maybe the problem is bigger than you, and at the end of the day, the problem that you're praying for will solve itself, of course, with the help of Almighty. I luckily was blessed. I didn't have a chance to go to AA, but this is something that I plan to do, because it's something I need to do seriously, because hubris is one of the reasons that can cause slip ups and stuff like that. And I always believe that it's good to accept, one, that there was a problem, and number two, definitely give hope to all those, anyone else who needs some hope. My watchman for the estate, he didn't see me for quite a long time at night, because I used to walk a lot at night. I hadn't seen him in a while, and he heard that I had quit painting. So one day I get a message that somebody wants to talk with him. I'm like, who is this? So there's the old man, the askari at the gate, the watchman. So I meet him and he asks me, Anton, is it true what I've heard? And then I said, yeah, it's true, I quit painting. And the guy's like, then for sure there's an Almighty in heaven. It's bizarre. I'm telling you, during COVID I bugged that watchman to death, whether it was asking him for money for pints, whether it was sending him for pints, whether it's sitting with him till morning at his booth, at his askari place, just making noise, listening to music, talking. It was a crazy thing. So when he found out that I had quit, he was like, yeah, God is great and anything is possible. But yeah, so at the end of the day, what I can say is that for anyone who's going through these challenges, don't give up hope. God is there, he'll help you through it. And then most importantly, pray. Prayer always helps. If you have somebody to talk to, do your best in talking with them to help you with the challenges, but don't suffer alone. A friend, a relative, a watchman, whoever it is, just make sure that you talk with somebody to get stuff off your chest. And prayer helps a lot. From me, I can give you many examples for how I know God is there, but one way I can say for sure is that my sobriety is one proof of evidence that he exists. Okay, so with that done, so I wish you guys an amazing year, amazing day, and I wish you all the best. I'll catch you in the next video. Be safe, take care, and bye bye.